Hello and welcome. So those of you who are regulars to this channel will know that usually I upload my videos every Friday at 1 o'clock Central European Time or 11 o'clock UTC. Today's Wednesday, so this means this is not one of my regular videos. Instead, this is an announcement. And I'm quite excited about this. I really hope you find this interesting as well. So I have been invited to take part in a podcast. The podcast is about flight simulation and real-world aviation. And I just want to give you a bit of a background about the podcast. So there's going to be two people on there. That is a young man called Jürgen and myself, but also in the future there will be more people, some guests from different parts of the industry, including flight simulation. So Jürgen and I go way back. We went to school together, but Jürgen's life took a completely different path to myself. He became a professional sportsman at a very young age. He's a very determined, very driven individual, and not surprisingly, he very quickly became the best in his field in his home country of Austria, then the best in Europe, and eventually ended up in the top 10 in the world, winning many awards. Once he retired from sports, he started writing books that were very successful, and then he started a podcast, and once again, very driven individual, very meticulous. His podcast is now the largest German-speaking podcast in the world when it comes to sports. So what has that to do with flight simming? Well, Jürgen and I have a connection, and that's why we kept in touch over all these years. Jürgen is a huge flight sim enthusiast like myself. However, he is on the X-Plane side, whilst I'm more Microsoft Flight Simulator. So that's quite interesting. And also Jürgen holds a pilot's license, like myself. Now I'm obviously in the world of airliner flying, so I'm a commercial pilot. Jürgen, on the other hand, has a private pilot license and a motor glider license. So his experience of aviation is more of general aviation and VFR flying, whilst mine is more about flying airliners. So Jürgen has had this plan of a podcast about aviation for a very long time, and he approached me and he asked me for my opinion, and it sort of evolved from there, and we decided to just try this out, the two of us, where we discuss different topics, invite different guests, and talk about this pretty big topic, if we are honest. Especially flight simming is a very vast topic. There's a lot to talk about. Each episode is only 30 minutes long. We kept it like this. We want it to be nice and easy to listen to. We are planning to release a podcast once a week, just like on this channel, the videos. We haven't decided on a day and a time yet. Once we do, I will let you know. And we've already pre-recorded the first 8 podcasts. So we are almost ready to go. We're still working on a website. We are trying to figure out some other things, some legal stuff, as you can probably imagine, especially if you have guests invited that talk about their profession. But I do think we are not that far away now from being able to release our first few podcasts. So the first one is all just a quick introduction where we talk about ourselves, where we explain what the podcast is all about and what the aim is about it all. But also we want to reach out to you guys. We will release the podcast on several different platforms at the same time, such as Spotify and of course here on YouTube. So if you have any questions, if there's anything you want us to talk about, then please leave a comment. We will read them and we will take them into account. The other podcasts we've recorded so far are sort of FAQs, if you like. So things that we've been asked over the years over and over again. The typical questions like, is turbulence dangerous? Do you always fly with the same crew, or is it different people every time? Or when you take off from a beautiful airport, do you actually have time to enjoy the scenery, or are you so focused on flying the aircraft that it really doesn't matter where you are taking off from? So these are just some examples. There's lots of questions we are discussing, and I hope they are going to be of interest to you. The podcast is going to be called Aviation-Quest, and like I said, we want this to be interactive, so we will upload them here on YouTube. We've decided to have some videos in the background, so you're not just staring at a blank screen. I've recorded some MSFS flights that will take part in the background and will be part of the podcast, so you can actually watch some full flights from A to B whilst listening. And like I said, if you have any comments, any questions, please feel free to leave them in the comments section. We would be really appreciative about that. And that is basically it. Just a short announcement, just to let you know that something is coming, something is in the pipeline. We've been working on this for several months now, quite a lot. It was a lot more work than I thought it would be, but we want to make sure everything is done properly, and that when we launch the podcast, it will be interesting and, you know, not too long-winded, and of course look somewhat professional. Okay, so that's the end of the announcement. I hope you find this as exciting as I do, and I hope you will be listening to our podcast and interacting with us. That would be great. If you have any ideas regarding guests, for example, that you think we should be talking to, then of course leave comments about that as well. Alright, and that's it. So back on Friday with a normal video. Until then, all the best, take care, and goodbye.